Hello and welcome to the Strong, Healthy, Happy podcast. My name is Debra, and today I'm very excited to welcome a guest onto the show. I've got Hannah with me, and we're going to be talking about her midlife reinvention, how she's feeling strong at 40, where she started, where she is now. And I'm just incredibly excited for you to hear her story. She is a different person from when she started. She has grown, she is still growing and still surprising herself and showing women in midlife just what's possible when you meet yourself where you're at and stop aiming for perfection, switch your mindset from weight loss and trying to be skinny and instead focus on gaining strength, building a strong and capable body and seeing just exactly what you're capable of and what is open to you. So Hannah, welcome to the podcast. Can you share with your listeners a little bit about yourself, your family setup, and just what your general life looks like for you?
Yeah, sure. So I am 40 years old. I am a full-time working single mum. I have got three amazing children. They are 4, 6 and 14, so a real range. And yeah, I reached out really for coaching shortly after my divorce. Just wanted to focus on me really and my well-being. Have something that worked around the kids because that was always a bit of a barrier, I think. Wanted to include exercise and just create some really good habits, I think, for me and the family. I think it's so much changes after a divorce. It was really important for me to build a bit of a healthy habit again.
You've certainly done just that. You recently messaged me because obviously I invited you onto the podcast. I recently have posted about our joint successful partnership in High Rocks, which we're going to come on to later in the podcast. But during our conversations, you recently messaged me something and it really stood out. And you said to me that you started coaching just after your 40th birthday and also recently divorced, as you've just shared. You wanted to improve your fitness and to tone up a little. You yourself recognized that it was never about being skinny but about being strong, improving your confidence and making lasting changes for you and your family. I know you've touched on it already, but can you take us back to that moment? Like, what was there a catalyst? Obviously we know what you've gone on in your personal life, but sometimes prioritizing ourselves and recognizing what we need, we may know that we need to do something, but sometimes it's very hard to take action. What was it for you? What happened? Take us back to that.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I said, it was recently after my divorce had come through. And with divorce comes so many changes. I think I was just a little bit lost, really. I think I'd spent such a long time being someone I thought I should be. I didn't really know who Hannah was anymore. My moods weren't great. They were kind of bouncing all over the place. A lot to do with hormones as well. I was suffering with really bad headaches to the point I was back and forward to the doctors. I'd been referred for a CT scan. I had a period of time on antidepressants. It was really just up and down. I didn't have that kind of consistent flow of being happy. So I just felt something needed to change quite drastically, really, for me to be a happier person, a happier mum. I've always had quite a positive outlook on life, and I think that had started to dwindle a bit as well. I'd always used running to keep me sane. That was always if I got to a point where I needed to do something, I would run and that would clear my head a little bit if it got a bit too cloudy. But I know I needed more than that. I needed accountability. I needed someone to be there giving me a bit of a kick up the backside. So I felt it was really important to invest in me and become happier and more confident and more empowered to make a lasting change, not something that would just be a kind of a 3-month or a 2-month, okay, yeah, I'm feeling happier now, but actually like a habitual change. So yeah, I signed up initially for 3 months to have that bit of a reset, but I'm still here 11 months later, achieving lots and lots of things that I didn't think I was capable of, and being supported by yourself and also the community of women that you've built as well. that have all got their own inspiring stories. So yeah, that's kind of where I was, and it's a stark contrast to where I am now.
Yeah, it really is a stark contrast to where you are now because, obviously I've got to know you during the time that you've been coaching, and the person you describe before coaching is not the Hannah that I know. And I'm sure everybody that within the coaching community would mirror what I just said there. There's a
Mm.
few things I just want to I want to ask you. Can you remind me, how did you hear about me? Because we don't know. I mean, I know we live in the same area, but I didn't know you.
No.
We don't have children the same age. Can you remind me how you heard about me?
So years ago, I knew about this running group in Kings Langley.
Right.
Yeah, and you all wore pink, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
They still do.
yeah. And I think I reached out years ago, and when I was looking for a coach, I remembered there'd been some communication with us across Facebook Messenger. And so I looked at what you were doing now, and I'd noticed one of the school mums was in a group that you did, like a 12-week coaching group. I chatted to her as well. And then I reached out initially for that particular program, but actually that wasn't going to fit with what I needed.
Mm.
So then we connected and talked about what I would need. So, yeah.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. And the other thing I wanted to pick you up on, or ask you more about, should I say, is you said about you recognizing you needed to make habitual changes. Can you talk to us a bit about what habitual changes you've made? Like what's different in your life, and whether, like, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but I think when people want to embark on a health and fitness journey or even sign up with a coach, is they think their life's going to be turned upside down. And I try to reassure them that it's not like that.
Yeah.
And obviously you have you're working, you're a single parent, you've got 3 kids. What habitual changes have you made and how were you able to make them within your life?
Yeah, I think small changes to start with were really helpful. And that could have been as simple as meal planning, you know, looking at what we're going to be eating for that week, the family, not just me. What I didn't want was to be cooking for myself and
Mm.
cooking for the children. I wanted something that would just that's a meal for all of us to enjoy. So having a look at what was going to nourish us, what was good food, and I like cooking anyway, so that helps. But meal prepping was a bit of a game changer. I am a really busy full-time working mum, so batch cooking was made a big difference for me. And just I don't want to get like pernickety about weighing food and things, but initially when I was meal prepping and I would make up my containers of food that I would then just be able to shove in the microwave at the end of the day, actually that was really helpful to just I've got my cooked chicken, I've got all my veggies, let's just make sure I'm having x amount of grams of chicken in each portion so that I know I'm getting exactly the right nutrients that I need. But I can come home from work and I've got dinner ready for me and the kids, and I know that I'm eating good healthy food. So that was something that still sticks with me now and has been consistent. And I think my mindset change around the gym, I kind of thought, well, I'd have to go to the gym I'll be there for an hour, hour and a half, then I'm going to have a shower. That's eating up into my day. But actually, once you start planning and I put it in my diary now, if it's not in my diary, it doesn't happen. So it's
Yes,
in my
okay.
diary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is part
um,
coaching, yeah.
yeah. And actually, if I can only make half an hour that day in the gym, that's half an hour and that's okay.
Yeah.
Um, so learning that though I have to be okay with those things. It's not a failure if I don't spend an hour in the gym. The fact that I've turned up is really good. So it was a bit of a mindset change as well around the gym, but the food side really, yeah, was really key for me.
Yeah. Has it impacted your kids in any way? Did they notice a difference, or is there a meal that you enjoy, or what, like, have they changed their diet in any way as a result of you understanding more about what you need in terms of nutrition?
Yeah, I mean, my younger two absolutely love helping with cooking, and we always try and get them involved with things. My middle one, my 6-year-old, is, out of all of us, the fussiest out of us all. But actually, she now eats chicken. She wouldn't touch chicken in January. And because I've tried certain ways of cooking it, um, she now absolutely loves it. Will ask for it throughout the week. So actually, they're eating much better, which is great. We have Taco Tuesdays. Every Tuesday is Taco Tuesday in our house, which we absolutely love. My son gets all the cheese ready. My middle one mashes the avocado. We always make homemade guacamole. The youngest one gets involved with laying the table. And actually, that can be a really healthy meal. You know, you've got your mince, you've got your salad, we always put rice with it as well. And it's a really enjoyable time together, you know. And that's a great one to batch cook, because we'll make a big chili and then we'll save that tacos. And then the following day, we'll have that with jacket potato or with rice. So, yeah, a good multi-purpose batch cook is a win for us.
Yeah, I love that. And do you know what else is really good? I don't know if you realize what you've done is you've created what is known as a deconstructed meal. So you get all the elements of your meal on a table. If the one of your kids doesn't want avocado, they don't have to take it, but it's there. They see others take it. It's quite encouraging. It helps the fussier eaters to see, oh, well, she's having it, he's having it, mum's having it. Maybe I'll try it. And even just keeping consistent with these deconstructed meals. And I had another coach on my podcast. It was a while ago now, and she, particularly her demographic and the people she coaches, is people with very young children, and she talked about deconstructing meals. And like even things like with a bolognese, you could have the mince, you don't have to have the pasta with it. You can have the pasta or the rice or the jacket potato, and the family all take what it is that they want and add it. So you've done
Definitely.
that. You've
Definitely
done that.
And then I think, if I can just add as well, about being mindful about your meal times, I think we have cut down on sofa dinners, and we sit together as a family and we enjoy food together, and then we play a card game afterwards. So it's just created more time for us to be present with each other as well, which is really lovely.
I totally love that. Totally love that, because even the meals where we eat on our own, sometimes they're so, I don't know if it's really a word, but unmindful, because you've got your laptop open, you've got your phone, you're answering messages, you're trying to eat, you've got a limited window. You get to the end of your meal and you're like, I don't even actually remember eating or even enjoying that meal. And so stopping and putting everything else away and being fully present, especially with your family and having that time together, is so beneficial in so many ways. So it's fantastic to hear you talk about that. This question, you've kind of touched on it in your previous answer, but you are a busy mom, working mom, and a lot of the time people perceive that they don't have enough time to fit everything in. You've already given some really great examples, like meal prepping, batch cooking. I love a meal where it's one meal, but it serves you 3 times or so. Feeds everyone, serves you more than once. You've also really brilliantly touched on the acceptance that if you've only got 30 minutes is better than not doing it at all, and something is always better than doing nothing. You've managed to fit it in around the time. And also, I know from coaching you, school holidays, they impact your gym workouts, but they don't impact you working out, because I just upload a home workout for you, which you get done. So how do you fit it all in? What's your, if there's another woman out there, no matter what the ages of her kids are, she's just busy. We all lead busy lives. Are there any top tips you could recommend?
Do you know, I write everything down. I have to be organised. If I'm not organised, I get completely overwhelmed and just want to sit on the sofa and can't do anything. It's like that complete overwhelm. So I think I have to be organised in order for me to function and get everything fitted in. So I write everything down. Everything is in my diary. My diary looks like I've got 7 or 8 things in every day, but it's because I even break it down to the time. I've got to do the food shop at this time on this day. This is where I go to the gym on this day. I'm picking the kids up at this time. Because if it's not in there, I find it really overwhelming to try and store it all in my head. I think that's come with the perimenopause brain as well. I just have to get everything in the diary. So that really helps me. I am fortunate. I do have a really flexible job and I can work from home if I need to. But I've had to be quite boundaried with that, because you can just plow through, not take a break, be sitting at your laptop, for hours on end. So I do have boundaries in my day. I do set myself a lunch break in my working day if I'm at home. And I will use that for the gym, or if I need to meal prep, and make use of that time. And I also make sure I switch off when I pick the kids up, so that I'm not trying to work and be with the kids and be present and cook the dinner, because that just makes me feel guilty because I'm not being present or I'm not meeting all of those needs. So I've had to be quite boundaried with work. So I do shut off around 3 o'clock when I pick the girls up. And then if I do need to catch up in the evenings, I know I can do that and not feel guilty about it, because that's on my time. I think I don't feel guilty anymore if I don't get to the gym and I can do the workouts at home. And actually the kids really enjoy it when I do the workouts at home. And I've got some really light dumbbells and kettlebells, and they quite enjoy getting involved, which is lovely. My middle one's really athletic. And so in the school holidays in particular, if we can, we'll go out to the common and we'll make sure we do a run together. We'll do some functional fitness in the field together. So it looks different, and it might not give me the weights that I'm used to at the gym, but I'm still being active. It's still making me feel good. So I think being really flexible, not feeling guilty if you don't make it to the gym, and just having that organization, even if that means writing everything down, things are going to let slip. The washing might pile up. You might think, I need to put the hoover around. I need to do the cleaning. Actually, some of those things can wait, and that's okay. I think we don't have to be on top of everything all the time. It's okay to say, all right, the house is a bit of a mess. It's not going to make me feel good by doing that right now. But what is going to make me feel good is going to the gym or going for a run for half an hour. So prioritising what makes you feel good. Yeah, I think as a mum, I think we do so much anyway. We have this unseen mental load of these little people that we have to organise, don't we? And that's really hard. And I think what's even harder than that is doing all of that with no energy, looking in the mirror, not liking your reflection staring back at you, not feeling confident in the pictures that you've just taken with your kids and your family, and feeling a bit lost. And I think, prioritizing me isn't, and it wasn't selfish, investing in coaching. That mum guilt does creep in, but actually it's an investment in me, and it's made me a happier mum, a healthier mum, a more playful mum, and a more present mum. So that's a massive win for me.
Hannah, that is, just listening to that, this is what makes it all worth it. All the effort that you've been putting in over these months, to hear that is just makes me a little bit emotional, because it is about that. And you know what, I'm going back to the housework. Like, I share your sentiment exactly. If you were to come into my house right now, it needs a hoover, my surfaces need wiping, the laundry's not up to date, but I have been to the gym this morning and I left it all, because I know that I will get that done.
Yeah.
But if I'd have sacked off my workout, I probably wouldn't have done the hoovering anyway.
Yeah.
I would always rather do something else. But I find that after a workout, I'm actually feeling more energized. I'll probably get it done regardless, because I feel
Definitely.
I'm ready to tick that off. But, I love that you have invested in yourself to be better for everyone else. And that is a very, very strong take-home message. And it's just so key. So key. Now, I want to just go back to the very beginning of your reason why. Obviously, you've evolved, you've grown in so many ways. But initially, and I looked back on your application form when you very first signed up, and one of your goals, you've already touched on perimenopause, you're aged 40, and perimenopause, it can come on as early as 30 for some women, and even earlier. But one of the things you wrote on your form was that your original goal was to lose weight and lose belly fat. And belly fat in menopause it's like a real thing. And basically what happens is your fat cells redistribute, and it is changeable via exercise and health. Now, your physique has changed. Can you talk about like that initial goal you had, where you are now?
Mm,
Because along the way you realized, you know what, this isn't just about weight loss. What
yeah.
shifted, what changed, and what body have you, 11 months later, have you changed? What does it look
Yeah.
like?
So yeah, I think it was around, losing that belly fat, toning up a little bit. And I feel like I have toned up and I have become stronger for sure. I don't have a six pack, and that wasn't my goal to do that. But you're right. For me, it was I was looking in the mirror and I didn't like what I saw. I mean, the thought of taking those photos of my body when I first started coaching was terrifying. It was a really uncomfortable thing to do. And I did it, and I probably took those photos about 15 times before I uploaded them. And each time, it's just, I was so almost felt ashamed. Like, how have I let myself get like this? And I wasn't massive,
No.
but I felt in myself that I had really let myself go. And that was because my confidence was so low, my self esteem was so low. And I wanted to get to the point where I was happy to look at myself in the mirror. Um, I'd given up on underwear, like nice underwear, just wear whatever, couldn't care. Um, and I didn't want to feel like that. At some point, I wanted to start dating again. I wanted to feel good. I wanted to, feel empowered to stand in the mirror and in whatever I was wearing and feel good. And I can honestly say, like, I'm there now. Like, I feel really good when I look in the mirror. I have noticed changes to my body. Like, I'm loving the way my arms and my shoulders, I'd never even taken notice of my arms and shoulders before. And I'm seeing muscle in my back. I've still got a little mum tum, but that's okay. I've grown 3 children in there and I enjoy food. I'm not at the point where I'm really restrictive in my diet, and I'm okay with that. But it is that confidence.
Okay, so would you say your confidence has come about by how you look? Would you agree that how you look is a byproduct of what you've done and what
Yeah,
your body is now capable of? Can we just
definitely.
talk about that a bit more? Because you've mentioned confidence quite a few times, whether that be low
Mm,
confidence or high confidence. And I want to just share with everybody that you wore a bikini on the beach for the first time this summer in a long
yeah.
time. Or no, for the first time in your life.
Yeah,
At 40, that's, I'm just
you know.
twisting Hannah's word, the first time
Yeah.
in her life. And she has, taken part in fitness challenges in a crop top and leggings, not a t-shirt over the top, tight fitting clothes, and standing there feeling proud. Now, can you break it down a bit in terms of like, do you feel your confidence came because of the byproducts of losing weight, or is it by what you've done? And if it's by what you've done, let's go over that and break it down for our listeners, because I think it's a really important message.
Yeah, definitely. I think like you say, I think it's a byproduct of, I think I know I am doing things and I'm capable of so much more than I thought. And going into the gym, that was a hurdle in itself, going into like the free weight section and stuff like that. But being able to confidently go to the gym, lift weights, use all the machines, that journey of, so I'll give you a really good example. The first time you uploaded a program for me, one of the exercises was a home workout, and it was the single leg sit to stand.
Oh, it's humbling, that is.
I looked at that and thought, seriously? Okay, I'll give it a go. Couldn't do it. Shocked myself that I couldn't do it. And now I find it easy. And
Mm.
I'm so proud of the strength that I've seen my body grow in strength and muscle, that that has given me the confidence to look in the mirror and say, you're looking really strong, you know, you're looking really healthy and really good. And also my energy levels. And I think that's a massive thing because that affects my moods. You know, I want my energy to be high and I thrive off of high energy. So my energy levels have been, you know, brilliant. And even things like picking up the girls, picking the kids up, you know, you're always putting a child on your hip and walking up the stairs and swinging them around and playing. Those things are easier. I'm getting down on the floor with the girls. One of them's got a gymnastics bar in the dining room. I'm on that gymnastics bar, you know, and it's
Right.
great. Mum, can you try this? Yeah, I'll give it a go. Um, Doing things like that has just it's just been such a lovely progress to see. And I shared with you recently my oldest son, he's 14. We have such good banter. And I said to him the other day, "Oh, do you fancy an arm wrestle?" And he went, "No, you're all right, Mum. Look at your arms. You're going to win."
I love
And I
that.
just thought that is brilliant. And he's now started doing his couch to 5K just off his own back, you know. And I think maybe I've inspired him to go off and, you know, and do something for himself. Yeah, the journey and the progress of seeing myself become stronger and do things that I hadn't done before has then given me that confidence to
Mm.
look at myself in a completely different way.
Yeah. I mean, not only are you're a role model to your children, and from what you describe, your day-to-day quality of life has greatly improved. And
Yeah,
let's also touch on the fact that you're not experiencing headaches anymore and your
no,
mood is also better balanced now. Am I correct in saying that?
yeah, that was one of the biggest things that changed actually. I think we got to about 3 months into the changes of nutrition, increasing my water intake, the working out, and I no longer suffer with migraines, you know, and I was going for a CT scan to see if there was anything seriously wrong, and actually, and sleep, getting a decent night's sleep. I'm fortunate that the girls do sleep, but just getting into bed earlier,
Mm.
even on the nights that I don't have the children, so that I can get up early and get to the gym. So yeah, my health has improved as well.
Yeah, I mean, that just fills me with so much joy because switching your mindset to health and quality of life, the process is the same as if it was weight loss. But the problem
Mm,
with weight loss is it's just boring and it's not very sustainable. Whereas if you focus on performance, quality of life, happiness, energy,
mm,
these things are really contagious because when you feel good, everything just feels so much easier. And
yeah.
you've absolutely like nailed it, demonstrated that.
Mm,
Absolutely. With the bikini as well, it kind of ties in with what you've just talked about. Wearing a bikini on the beach, and I had this with Michelle, who wore the crop top. And I've worked with Michelle for a long time, seeing how she's grown, and she sent me this message, and I know, I've talked about it in a post, so it's not like it's confidential, but she was like, "What do I think? And I'm worried, and what will people think?" And I said to her, "Do you know what this crop top represents?
mm,
This represents the hard work that you have invested in yourself. You show up for yourself, just like you've shown up for yourself, Hannah. There's always days where you'd rather not be doing the gym. You've got a million other things to do, but you still do that, even when you don't want to do it. You keep showing up, and that crop top or that bikini represents the self-respect that you've built for your body and yourself. It's more than losing a few pounds. It's
mm,
everything you've done consistently. And I really want to highlight, not perfectly, because no one needs to be perfect, consistently showing up for yourself. That's really something to be proud of. When you're
mm.
health driven, strength driven, you're only improving your health and strength. Yes, we have lower energy days sometimes, we're human, but
Yeah.
generally your health is a much more exciting thing to focus on. So you've done extremely well. What would you say to anyone thinking about coaching?
I would say that the first step can feel really scary. Someone said to me recently in fact, it was at work, and we were working with some young people, and the person facilitating the group had said, "If nothing changes, nothing changes."
Mm,
And I thought, gosh, that's so powerful actually, and it's completely right. And you kind of have to weigh up what's the scarier option, putting yourself out there and feeling a little bit uncomfortable to begin with, but then actually getting on an amazing path, or just sticking with what you know and nothing changing? So I think that's a really good question to start off with. And I think that small changes can make a big difference. I think it's not about turning your life upside down. It's about setting really realistic goals for yourself, that feel achievable. And having accountability has been a game changer, because you can have great intentions, especially as we're coming up to the new year, we've got all the New Year's resolutions, you can have great intentions. But I think unless you have accountability, it's very difficult to be consistent and make changes. So yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Now let's talk about some really big, huge, momentous wins amongst all the other wins you've had, and progress and success. You took on your first fitness challenge earlier this year. It was Deadly Dozen. Tell us like what that meant for you, because like the reason why I'm asking this is sometimes people look at you, or they may look at your social media and they just presume you've always been this way, that
Mm,
it's easy for you, that it's natural, you're a natural.
mm.
But actually Deadly Dozen was your first foray into a fitness challenge.
Yeah.
Tell us about that and what you
Yeah,
and
and
how
that
it
was
was.
completely different to anything I've ever done before. So, like I said, I've always loved running, and I've kind of done it sporadically throughout the years. But only really, 5K is a good, comfortable distance for me. It's been many, many years since I've run anything like a 10K or anything like that. And prior to this year, I'd never done strength training. So I'd never picked up a barbell. So that was completely, completely new for me. So looking at Deadly Dozen and the elements that were in that, the the dumbbell snatch, I'd never even heard of that, didn't have a clue what that was. The lunges, I'd probably seen them and thought, no thanks. So all of these elements, and I thought, okay, yeah, let's give this a go. Um, so yeah, I started on with the program you'd set, and in the gym, using the barbells, using the dumbbells, bear crawling across the gym floor. That wasn't
Oh,
embarrassing at all. um, yeah, yeah. Um, but I mean, so I'll go back to the gym. So the barbell, the first barbell I ever lifted, I went into the gym, lifted the bar, didn't think the bar would be that heavy, and it really flipping is. And actually, my confidence using the gym, the weights in the gym now has been amazing. But Deadly Dozen in the summer, 30-degree heat. It was a hot day. I was partnered with the lovely Kate, and we had to do 12 laps of a 400-meter track and 12 strength stations in between. So, yeah, your lunges, your bear crawls, your burpees. Oh, what else? A plate
yeah.
carry.
There's crazy
Yeah,
things with plates and stuff. Crazy but
yeah,
challenging but good things. But you did very
yeah.
well at that event. Didn't
It
stop
was
there though.
brilliant.
Didn't
Didn't
stop
stop
there.
there. I think that kind of got me hooked into strength training, because I was seeing what I was capable of. And in any aspect of my life, once I see what I'm capable, I always say, right, what's next?
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
else can we go with this?
yeah.
So then we stepped it up to hybrid
Hybrid
games,
games.
which was at London Olympia.
So that
And
was, just to give a timeline, that was in November.
and that was 10 laps of, was it an 800, 600 meters? Yeah, with 10 strength stations in between, and different strength stations. So the ski erg, which was a new one for me to use, the rowing, and the assault bike, which no one wants to talk about this. Yeah, these machines again, never really used them in the gym. And it was tough, like, I'm not gonna lie, that training was tough. But once you see the progress, and it might feel a little bit easier the next time on that ski erg or on that assault bike, you kind of actually think, oh, I am getting stronger, I am building muscle, I can do this. So that gave me some really good motivation. And race day, well, I was absolutely buzzing. I was jumping around the minute I stepped foot in the Olympia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we absolutely smashed it. It was,
You
yeah,
had a great partnership with Kirsty, who's another
yeah,
client. I mean, And just to say that Hannah's done these events as part of the community. There is a group of women in midlife doing these crazy challenges. Or they're not crazy, but they're very rewarding. And it's about showing what you're capable of. But
Yeah.
100 Games, you and Kirsty did absolutely incredible together. And then 2 weeks after that, we went and did High Rocks together. And we were, if I may say so, a very equal and very supportive partnership, each bringing our own strengths to it. But you did incredible, as a first High Rocks.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. That was an amazing event. I don't think I had realised the scale of that event, and walking into that arena was so overwhelming. Thousands of athletes. I'd never seen anything like it, but it was such a buzz. It was such an amazing experience. I was really emotional when when we finished, because it just felt like this whole year had been building up to this point, and I'm in great physical strength. I'm in great mental strength.
Yep.
And we did it, we did it. And I crossed that finish line and the tears were coming. But yeah, it was such a proud moment for me and for us as well to have achieved that and done it really well.
Yeah, for me too. I mean, it was my personal best time. It was fantastic. I share your feelings about that event, and obviously to have done it with you was incredible, absolutely incredible what you've achieved in the time that you've been coaching. And I know you're not going to stop there. You've already got things in in the diary, which is absolutely amazing. Is there anything you want to say before we kind of bring this podcast episode to an end? Is there anything we haven't talked about that perhaps you want to just get in, or anything you want to say at all? The floor is yours just to end this episode.
Yeah, just well, firstly, just thank you for the support, and the encouragement throughout the year. To the community as well. Something came to me when you were talking about the group of women, actually. And when I got divorced, I did lose some friends, and you kind of separate your friendship groups a little bit, and that was hard. And someone said to me, "You need to find your tribe, Hannah." And I think that's what you've done. You've created, this tribe of women who have got lots in common, that want to achieve, and be better for themselves and their families. And I think that's really lovely. And I think if you're going to do coaching, you're not going to be alone. You're going to have the support and a network of support around you. And it's an investment. There's no shame in asking for help. Everyone started somewhere. And I think to invest in yourself, like I said before, means a happier, healthier you. And that might be a better parent, a better partner, but ultimately, a more confident, empowered person. And I just think, who wouldn't want that? So yeah, it's been a remarkable year for me, and one that it's going to go down as one of my best years.
That's amazing, and I think you're gonna just, I'm looking forward to seeing what you're gonna get up to, Hannah, because I know there's gonna be great things for you ahead. It's been absolutely phenomenal working with you, getting to know you, having you on the pod, having you in the community. You're very, very inspiring, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be inspiring many other women out there listening.
Thank
So
you.
thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much.